One, two, one, two, one. Turn me up. Turn me up.
The champ is here.
It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. It's a wonderful day in the neighborhood. Will you be mine? Will you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Good afternoon, boys and girls. Welcome to the People's Podcast. On your way in the door, make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the share button, smash the bell, hit the Cash App, all that good stuff. We're not going to waste too much time getting into it today, so we're going to skip the monologue. Make sure you check in with the chat, though. You content creators, please feel free to drop your links so we can spread love. Today is August 16th, 2026. It's the last few hours of my 40s. Yeah, I'm waving goodbye to the 40s. I'll be 50 tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's my born day. Please don't wish me happy birthdays. I do not celebrate birthdays. That goes against my belief system. I acknowledge my birthday, but I do not celebrate it. I don't celebrate my mama's birthday, okay? And that's July 4th. Definitely not. But today, as I alluded to earlier, if you've been following along, welcome to the People's Podcast. I am your host, V. Ben Israel, the People's Champ. I am the Day Walker, the Dark Knight, the Black Maga. I am the Shogun of Charlotte, show enough. I am Mr. Big Balls himself. The ladies call me the Cookie Monster. You can call me Pumpy Escobar. You can also call me Chef V. I am the author, two-time published author. You can find my last book, Mi Dos Centimos, on Amazon. 10-year anniversary this year. I'm also the former photographer and artist, formerly known as Van Johnson. I am the Heisenberg of this ish. They call me the Heisenberg because I bring you that pure, that raw dog that never stepped on, stomped on, no impurities, no baking soda, straight, pure, blue crystal truth. Don't repeat me, because if you repeat me without quoting me, they will attack you. So blame me. Say Izzy said it. I didn't say it. Izzy said it. Send him over here to V. Let me take care of that light work for you. I only debate my equal. All others I teach. Okay? So if you're here, I hope you are here to learn. So get your notebooks out. Make sure you got a pen, a Sharpie. And I've been trying to teach y'all that. I ain't got no pens right now because I can't find them. So That's one of the other things that got lost in the transitions. I got to order some more pen. I got some on order. I got some Sharpies though. Keep you a Sharpie. Keep you a pen in your pocket. You never know when you're going to need it. Make sure you got a composition notebook or equivalent. Make sure you got some Bible highlighters. That way you don't destroy your books and bleed through your pages, right? The Bible highlighters, they don't bleed through. I don't know what their technical name is, but that's what they're called, in my opinion. I'm sorry. I got distracted. I got distracted. I apologize. So we're going to talk today about several, we're going to start several presidents, and we're going to start with Bill Clinton, and we're going to come forward on the timeline. And the question on the table is that I'm asking is that people, well, let me preface this. You always hear people say, what did they do for black people? And I want to pose a different question. And the question I'm putting on the table is, what did they do to black people? And because a lot of the times we give these presidents credit for things that they didn't do, that actually somebody else did, and we ignore things that they actually did. We never talk about those things. So we're going to jump right in. Who I got in here yet? Nobody yet? Anybody check in with the chat yet? No. Okay. Well, just come on in when you can. So going to start with Bill Clinton. So Bill Clinton was what? Was he what? When did Bill Clinton come in office? So he did 8 years. He, so I guess he came in what, 90, 93? I guess that would have been around 92 when he went on the Arsenio Hall and everybody fell in love with him because he went on Arsenio and he played the saxophone. What was his policies, though? And one of the achievements that Bill Clinton is always credited with is, he had a balanced budget. What policy did he put in that led to that balanced budget at that time? To that surplus, actually. During his presidency, there was a surplus. The debt clock was running the other way. Nothing is the answer. Those policies came before him that led to that surplus. It takes years to build up a surplus and don't just happen instantly. And so that would have been Reagan, Bush 1. Those policies that those two Republican presidents, might I add, put in place, Reaganomics worked. The trickled down to Bill. It did work. And that led to the surplus that we had in the 90s. So what did Bill Clinton do to you? I'll tell you what he did to you. He did NAFTA to you. He did immigration to you. Because in the 90s, they pushed for quadrupling legal immigration. Before Bill Clinton, immigration was 250,000 legal immigrants per year. That was the quota. Bill Clinton bumped that up to 1 million. And then it was a flood coming in the 90s. And I remember seeing it. All of those Africans that, and, who didn't want to be black, by the way. That's another topic, but they were quick to tell us, I ain't not black, I ain't Nigerian, I ain't Ghanese, I get the fuck out of here. Now, a generation later, they all want to claim they black, but they didn't want their kids to talk to us in school. Their kids would get in trouble talking to us. I've talked about that plenty of times before. They wanted our resources and they wanted to tether, as Tariq would, Nasheed. Shout out to Tariq, brother Tariq Nasheed, who came up with the term, I believe, foundational Black Americans. Because we need to separate ourselves. We need to know, when you say Black American, who are you talking about? Because our lineage is different from theirs. But Democrats, even before Bill Clinton came in, Jesse Jackson in 86 came up with that African American word. And so they got together and decided for us what we are going to be called, and the government went right along with it. To me, that's the most offensive thing ever, because no other group of men allows that. doesn't allow outsiders to come in and determine what your heritage is, what your nationality is. They speak for themselves. Even in third world countries, especially in third world countries, they ain't having that. Only us. We the only group of men on the planet that are, well, in current day. The so-called Africans did it too, because most of them African countries is named after their colonizers. Nigeria, you know, Ethiopia, I'm sure, if you go back far enough, and all of the rest of them. Hell, the word Africa itself comes from a colonizer, Leo Africanus, in the 1500s. That's why when you go back to the beyond into the 1400s, that word Africa did not exist. Leo Africanus started with, I believe it was Lebanon, and then they applied it to the whole continent. But Bill Clinton ushered in, he quadrupled the quota. But like I tell y'all all the time about economics, supply and demand. If you got a supply and a demand, they're constantly trying to balance themselves. But if you artificially increase the demand, right, but the supply stays the same, what happens to the cost of the supply? It goes up, it skyrockets. And then you wonder why cars are approaching $1,000 a month before insurance. For a regular car, we're not talking about a luxury car. That used to be not that long ago, 20 years ago, $1,000 got you a luxury car, a nice one. But same thing with housing. My kids will probably never be able to buy a house. I'm sorry to say it. Even if they get married and partner up or team up, whatever words y'all want to use, they get married and work together, it'll be a struggle. And they're already behind the 8 ball. Something they should have been doing in their early 20s. I think the average home buyer now is into their 40s. And if you take out a 30-year mortgage, say you're 40, buy your first house, take out a 30-year mortgage. That means you're going to be 70 before you pay off your house. You'll never pay off that house. You'll never build any equity. We were already struggling, passing along or creating wealth to pass on to other generations when we were buying houses in our 20s. Now we doubled that age. I mean, come on now. Listen, and we don't even have families anymore. We have single people operating independently of one another. Right? You got single baby mamas and single baby daddies. You got bad bees and ratchet chicks and Pookie and Ray Ray. Because roughly less than 5% of, in our community, quote unquote, 5% of the men are responsible for the vast majority of the children that are being generated. So you got that happening on one side. On the other side, you got women killing their kids. They kill roughly about 1 million of our children a year. Not to mention the damage they're doing continuously to the ones that do survive birth. And somewhere along the way, telling the truth became misogyny, became bashing. The truth is none of those things. Tell me what a lie is. But if you lie, they love you. Jasmine Crockett, Letitia James, Bill Clinton, all of the rest of these Dems that you love, all they do is lie. And call everybody else a liar, but never identify the lie. And if somebody is truly lying, you wouldn't have to lie about the lie they supposedly told. Chopping up videos and putting out fake dossiers and all of this shit, you know. I just did a video about a week ago, I guess 2 weeks ago, because Jazzy Crockett came out and said it again down in Congress about black women being the most educated but can't get jobs. So I fact checked it. I put the clip up and somebody attacked me on TikTok. So that's how they always talk. So you say, nigga, you heard what I said. You ain't got to say so. You heard me clearly. And you heard not me saying it. I let the AI say it. I let Alexa say it. Oh, you going to use Alexa? Would you prefer Gemini? Would you prefer Claude? Would you prefer GPT or whatever it's called? Anthropic? Which AI would you like me to use? They're all saying the same thing. It's not true, and it's never been true. Black women are not the most educated women. But this is the nonsense that got ushered in, starting with Bill Clinton. That's what he did to you. Not to mention NAFTA, where, again, the supply and the demand. He put NAFTA in. It was supposed to bring in all of these jobs and make everything great, and all that opened up the doors for offshore. They opened up the doors to send all the jobs right on out of the country. And what jobs were they? Entry-level jobs. Jobs that we could get right out of high school, right out of college or during college, call center jobs, entry-level manufacturing jobs, jobs that would lead your stepping stone into a career, into work, into quality work, because there's a difference between job and work. Not going to get into it about my sons. They don't understand. I try to teach them all life. There's a difference between a job and work. Jobs don't pay very much money. And you got to do the work. With work, that's what got done too. The work got taken away from. And the little bit of jobs that were left are going away. I keep warning y'all about this. Walmart is the #1 employer for black women in this country. But they're running circles around us. Not with Walmart being your #1 employer, followed closely by the federal government. They're like neck and neck, I believe. Like they take turns going back and forth. But essentially, if you work for Walmart, you're being heavily subsidized by the federal government anyway. So it's really interchangeable. That's another conversation. This is what Bill Clinton did to you. And it wasn't just him. When I say Bill Clinton, that group of people, his wife, Biden, because see, Biden was in the Senate back then. He created the crime bill. Hillary Clinton came out with the black boys are super predators, put a target on our back. I was in middle school when she said that, going into high school. Biden wrote the crime bill. Kamala was locking people up in California at that time. So between Biden and Kamala, they locked more people up, more black men up than damn near anybody. They're responsible. And it wasn't just black men. Kamala was locking up black women too. But y'all ran to support her ass. She locked up that black mother because her daughter was sick in the hospital. And that's why she was missing school. Kamala didn't care. She put the girl's mama in jail while the girl was in the hospital. Google that. I mean, YouTube that shit. True story. Didn't give a shit. But she tell y'all the story that she was fighting cartels. Where? What cartel was she fighting? Because she locked up some low-level cartel member for selling a bag of weed or ounce. Come on now. That ain't fighting the cartel. The hell out of here. The hell is this? That's the environment that Bill Clinton did to you because y'all were distracted by the saxophone, Monica Lewinsky, and you didn't pay attention to the North American Free Trade Agreement that got our economy today fucked up. It wasn't, see, y'all try to blame Bush for taking us into Iraq and Afghanistan after 9/11. But presidents don't authorize, Congress does. And there was a whole lot of Democrats pushing for it. And they got generationally wealthy. That's when Pelosi first got it started. Okay. Mm-hmm. But y'all get distracted and racism. And y'all don't even know what racism is. And then y'all add in now in today's world, systemic racism. When did it change from regular racism to systemic? Because they're making like it's a distinction. So what year, what decade did that change occur? I would like to know. It's a bunch of BS if you ask me. It's always been systemic since 1492. If you understand what racism is, and that's the problem. Black people don't. Americans today don't. We don't know what words mean. Words matter. Context matters. That's a different discussion. And then also during that era, 94, OJ happened. And that's when news went 24/7. I remember watching the game. I was watching the Bulls and the playoffs. That was my team. And they shut the playoffs down to watch that Bronco chase. I'm like, the hell is this? What the hell is going on here? I was a freshman, 1994. I was a freshman. No, I wasn't. I was still in high school, I believe. I definitely remember watching the trial in college. So maybe it was 1993. I think it was that championship. It was during that championship run. What was that, the Lakers or something? I don't know. Can't remember. Distractions, marketing. That's what the Bill Clinton era did to you. The curtain was pulled, the wool was pulled over your eyes. That's what happened. Mm. That's what happened. Y'all all right? So that brings us into the 2000s. George Bush Jr. What did he do to you? Yeah, the conspiracies, they blame George Bush for 9/11. They blame him for the Hurricane Katrina response, even though, I mean, these were like two catastrophic events that happened, unprecedented events that happened. You know, they made it seem like as if it could have been done differently. Some kind of way it was his fault. Um, but before that happened, George Bush was actually looking out, and he came out with the child tax credit. That would have been like 2000. Matter of fact, that summer, I remember he pushed, advocated heavy to make sure we got a. Not only did we get the child tax credits, we got an advance on it. I remember. I got that check. I remember that's when they gave us checks. It wasn't no direct deposit. It was a check. Um, that was Bush. That was George Bush. And we still, to this day, get the child tax credits. Thank you, George Bush. Was that Hurricane Katrina shit fucked up? Yes. Was 9/11 fucked up? The responses I'm talking about. Yes, they were. Again, it was Democrats in the Congress. Congress is responsible for them purse strings. What were they doing? Lining their pockets. Both Republicans and Democrats were lining their pockets. Two sides of the same coin. House divided cannot stand. Remember those things. Damn, I want an ice cream sandwich right now. It's so hot out there. I just looked outside like, Jesus. It's that time of day when there ain't really much shade in the front or the back. It's beautiful out there, though. The leaves on the trees are like miniature solar panels. Right? Think about it. Like, they never burn up. Well, rarely do you see trees burn up. They just absorb that shit and convert it into energy, into food. E equals MC squared. They take the sunlight, convert it into food, energy. It's amazing. I always wonder why solar panels aren't like really green like leaves. To me, that would make sense. I don't know. I never looked into the science of it. Maybe I'm sure there's a reason. But to me, I just always wondered that. Same thing with tinted windows. I always thought like a dark green, like that would make sense. to me. I've seen it a couple of times at car shows, but I'm like, if the trees have been doing it for millions of years, why are we questioning it? Trees aren't and plants aren't accidentally green universally, for no reason. I think God knew what he was doing. So we went to Iraq and Afghanistan, 20, 30-year war, whatever the hell it was, 20-year war. And we went from a surplus to we're almost $50 trillion in deficit that my grandchildren and great grandchildren are going to have to pay for, on top of cost of living and inflation and everything else, and economic competition that they shouldn't have. That brings us to Barry Santoro, aka Barack Obama. We all fell in love with them in 2008. We fell in love with the whole family. Open change, black man, black family. It's my mother. Hold on, y'all. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, mother. How are you? I am extraordinary as always. Yeah. Okay. Well, see, extraordinary. I need your help. Okay. The money. I ain't got no money right now, ma. Yeah, I just made that move, and I've had to kick out so much extra. I don't even know how I'm gonna make it through the rest of this month. Yeah, and I didn't get the $800 back from my deposit. They kept my money. Why? They claim it wasn't clean enough in there, and this and that, and the 2 chairs that I left in there, was so much of a hassle. Okay, I see. Yeah. Hey, can you fold up? Danny. Talking to the dog? Huh? Were y'all talking to the dog? No. Amazon was here. Okay. Oh. Yeah, if I had it, I'd give it to you. I just ain't got it, man. Okay. All right, man. It's the second person today to ask me for some money to help them out. Not just saying, God, I wish I could. I ain't got it. I guess people ain't been paying attention. Like, I've been kicking out unexpectedly since this whole move, and I thought I was going to catch it on the back end and get my deposit back, but they stuck me on that. So it is what it is. Life goes on. Life goes on. So yeah, what did Obama do to us? Well, he didn't do nothing for us. Nothing. Promised us, he sold us a dream, and then immediately when he got in office, he moved away from us. All of the black power, black love shit, he started focusing on DACA. That's the immigrants, legal and illegal. And he started focusing on the LMNOP people, giving them their rights. They got skipped to the line. So what did he do to you? Put you in the back of the line. Y'all been waiting hundreds of years. Finally, y'all thought this was going to change things, and no, he puts you right back at the back of the line. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Go directly back to the back of the line. And now y'all in jail again, trying to roll doubles, trying to get out. So that you can just land on somebody else's property. And as Dr. Claude Anderson put it, it's a real life monopoly game. All you're doing is trying to stay out of jail and keep from landing on somebody else's property or utilities. And hope you can make it to go to collect your little $200, your universal basic income, your UBI, right? That's what the socialists or communist socialists are trying to sell you. That's what Obama did to you. Horrible policies. He brought immigrants in. On one end, he was the deporter in chief to the South Americans, to your brothers and sisters, right? Nationally, because y'all don't know who you are. Those your people. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans are your people. But he bringing in these immigrants, these Somalians, strategically placing them in Ohio, Minnesota, because it was all about them Caucasus. He brought 30,000 of them Somalians in. And who did he make deals with? The damn very people who was over there killing their own people. That was Ilhan Omar's father and that government. And she likes to, they all like to pretend they're victims and they're refugees. She was part of the ruling class who was actually doing the killing, her daddy. That's why she's so nasty. She don't give a shit about you. 30,000 people came in doing that. That was less than 15, 16 years ago. 14, really, right? Let's just say 15 to make it even. 15 years ago, brought them in here secretly. Nobody knew this was going on. We find it out now. He shipping plane loads of money over there, gutting every damn bank on the East Coast, damn near in the DMV area of cash to ship up there. Ship up there to Iran because he a punk ass and didn't want that work. And then, y'all fought the man here. He been telling you for damn 40 years what he was going to do. I don't know why y'all acting like, oh, he lied. He broke his promise. He said no new wars. No, he didn't. He said no forever wars. But Iran has been something he's been talking about consistently since the 80s. And he did what he said he was going to do. And maybe had Obama did something, Bush, Obama, Clinton, Biden, maybe if one of them had grew some balls, we could have put them in check a long time ago. Because they've been killing Americans the whole time. They've been killing Americans for 50 years. They killed Doc Brown. Y'all don't remember Back to the Future? They tried to kill Chuck Norris. Y'all don't remember Delta Force? Them Iranians been bad guys for a long time. All my life. Yeah, I got beef with them for what they did to Doc Brown, but that's just me. That's just me. But anyway. But going back to Barry. Why do we call him Barry? Because he grew up in Indonesia. He's not black. His mother's white. His father's quote unquote African. His stepfather raised him in Indonesia. What part of black is that culture? Every skin folk ain't kinfolk. He didn't grow up like us. Hawaii, wherever the hell else he is. He got to Chicago after the fact. He cosplayed. He's a tether. The tethering chief, I believe Tariq called it. I agree with that term. Now, Michelle is black. She bliggity black, cocoa butter and pink hair oil. She smelled like all of that. Crisco. That you can smell her ass through the TV. That's Michelle and her people. Obama, he never made it to the cookout until he met Michelle. He ain't never been to the cookout. He don't know who made the potato salad. He don't know none of that. His lineage is not here. And then they say his mother is supposedly related to the Bushes, like a distant cousin of the Bushes. Well, that distant don't mean nothing because I'm very close to some of my distant cousins, more so than my first cousins. I tell you all about that all the time. So how close is she to those Bushes, really? See, some of these political connections go back hundreds of years, and y'all have no idea how these people are interconnected. Better start doing some homework. Like the Clintons, Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton was a political marriage. Hillary Clinton comes from that ruling class up there in New England states, Providence, Rhode Island, if I remember correctly. Yeah, her brother and her uncles and them. Yeah, them was some nasty characters. Yeah. And see, Hillary always thought that she was going to inherit the throne because of that. And that's why she got that attitude like, y'all owe me. Like, this nigga here got my spot and y'all owe me because of it, kind of thing. You know, that's always been Hillary's attitude. Like, bitch, we liked your husband. We didn't like you. Nobody ever liked Hillary. Nasty. We liked the daughter, sorta, and we like because she looked like a daddy, and we liked the daddy. But that was a political marriage. Same thing like with the Cheneys. Y'all blame George Bush, but y'all wasn't paying attention to Dick Cheney and his wife. Another political marriage. Y'all don't pay attention to the power structure. And you're not understanding what them people are doing to you. And them Cheneys was deep in the pockets of Halliburton. Look that company up, and you'll understand why we really went to Iraq and Afghanistan. But Barry Santorum and Trump tried to tell y'all, let's see the birth certificate. And then magically, he was in Hawaii and all. I mean, they got these Manchurian candidates. They wouldn't let the real black man, which was Jesse Jackson, be president, right? They wouldn't let him be president. A real black man, whether I agree with his politics or not, a real black, authentic, foundational black American, right? No, they needed a Manchurian candidate. That's Barack. That's Kamala. another Manchurian candidate. These people that aren't authentically black, that did not grow up here in America. So they're not culturally Americans. They're cosplaying black Americans. Yeah. So we had George Bush. We got the Barack, aka Barry. They sold us the dream. We got 8 years of that. We did all of that horrible stuff to us. We're still paying for that bad policies. And Biden ass as his vice president was a joke. But they needed somebody that was part of the establishment. Mm-hmm. They always want their guy in there. And Biden was their guy. That was their boy. That was their boy. Damn, Tariq, she live again. Damn, he all over the place today. Said, go ahead, boy, I ain't mad at you. Get that. After Obama's the reason why we got Trump. 2016, he came down that elevator, right? 2015, 2016, came down the elevator. And, we had just had about 6 years of the Tea Party crap, and Republican Party was going through damn near Civil War, damn Avengers Civil War and shit. There goes Trump. Trump was a Democrat, though. And many of the things that Trump said and says now are the same exact things, word for word, that the Democrats have been saying. Because he's a lifelong Democrat. But the Democrats have gone so far to the left. Now Trump is a Republican. He ain't changed. He's saying the same shit he always said. It's just the Democrats have changed. That's what they did to you. They gave you Trump. So what did Trump do to you? Well, he couldn't do much the first term. He did. I mean, the economy was looking good. And during them first 4 Trump years, I made a lot of money on Bitcoin. I tell you that. That year, them years, he did that to us. But they sabotaged them with the Russia, the impeachments, the lies, the constant the scandals that were lies, but somehow he's the liar. And now we're finding out all that shit he's been saying is true. Hmm. Then what did they do to you with Biden? What did they do with Biden? Well, first of all, they took away. Y'all always talking about, they're taking away our vote. Your vote was already taken away with Biden. Y'all didn't vote for Biden. They picked Biden once again. They picked him as vice president, and now they picked him as president. Biden and Kamala had a horrible campaign. Now, historically, you have to win at least one of them first 3 caucuses before going into Super Tuesday. Biden didn't even come in the top 3. Kamala didn't make it to the caucuses, right? But they pulled because y'all don't know what's going on. They took your vote away from you. It was Bernie and Elizabeth Warren, number one and number two. And in every other one of those races, them early races. And going into Super Tuesday, Bernie was feeling the burn, right? That was what was going on. Thank God he didn't get in, because we see what's happening now with these DSA, but that's another thing. Oh, also during Trump's first term, he got rid of NAFTA. Thank God he did that too. What else did? Now we at Biden right now. So Biden they made a backroom deal with Clyburn down there in South Carolina, and he was supposed to put Clyburn's girl into the Supreme Court, and or they was going to shut his campaign down, and that was the threat. But his girl didn't get in. It was like three black women. It was a chick from California. It was a chick from South Carolina or somewhere in the South, and then you had Ketanji Brown. The chick from South Carolina, they blocked her out. They didn't want the chick from California, who I believe was the most qualified, and they went with dumbass Ketanji Brown. She was the safe DEI choice. Didn't earn it. And we're seeing that's one thing Biden did to us. Gave us Ketanji Brown. She's voting social issues. The Supreme Court is supposed to interpret the law, not through a lens of social issues. What does the law say? What does the Constitution say? That's what Biden did to you. A lot of things he did, but we're finding out he wasn't even really the president. He was weakened at Bernie's. I have been saying that the whole time. You never seen that movie, you Zoomers, Gen Z? You never seen Weekend, or you millennials? Never seen Weekend at Bernie's? I suggest you watch that movie. And that is metaphorically and figuratively what Joe Biden's presidency was. They totally circumvented the democratic process to put their guy in office. Totally bypassed it. Then they turned, and they stole that election too. They did that to you. They did it double time to you. Anything for them to stay in power, because they didn't want us finding out where the money was going. All of these DEI initiatives, all of these kind of things that have been happening. Money, Sesame Street in Afghanistan. How does that help Americans? Why is our tax dollars being spent? Why do they need Ernie and Bert in Afghanistan? Them people don't give a shit about Ernie and Bert. If they want Ernie and Bert, let them learn English, and we'll just send them a couple of DVDs instead of sending pallets of money all over the world in cash. So then they do it again. See, the deal was that Biden was only supposed to do one term, and then he was supposed to get out. Well, I think it was a power struggle in the Democratic Party, and they pushed him to run again, even though his health wasn't in it. I think he was sick. He had to be, they say, when he was vice president. And they always, Obama was smooth ass, covered it up. for him. Oh, Joe, you're so crazy, with the gaps and shit. No, he was fucking senile back then. I'm like, that ain't no gas. Like, y'all might need to check on him. I was saying it back then. With the malarkey and shit. Him and Ryan was at the debate. So we've never in history had those two things happen. We never had South Carolina essentially pick the Democratic nominee for president. And we've never had a president during re-election drop out 100 days before the election and the vice president essentially just or anybody get installed. Nobody voted for Kamala. So how did your vote count? Nobody voted for her, ever. Yeah, she was good at winning them small elections in California, and we see how corrupt California is. So we need to question all of them elections she won in California. Thank you. What's that dude, Willie Green or whoever Green she was sleeping her way to the top with? Hello? That's what they did to you. They took away your vote a long time ago. And the one guy that's trying to protect what your grandparents and ancestors fought for and died for, birthright citizenship, y'all just willy-nilly give it away to people who it was never meant for and didn't earn it or anything. Did y'all not learn anything from Cuba? When they let all them Cubans in, they took over Florida. Prior to that, all of them jobs in South Florida traditionally went to foundational Black Americans. Now they've legislated Black Americans out of the process. There are jobs that you can't even get in South Florida unless you're bilingual, unless you speak Spanish. Historical jobs that were Black Americans have been wiped out because they let them in, and that stranger got above you. That's the Bible tells you what's going to happen, and that's what happened. And they are doing it again. Richard Pryor tried to warn. Paul Mooney tried to warn. Dick Gregory tried to warn you. Countless others. Before that, Malcolm tried to warn. And others. They murdered and imprisoned all of the leaders that we had in foundational Black American communities when we had communities. There is no such thing as a Black community. Thanks to the Democrats, that shit is gone. And it died in the 80s. Because, like, when they taught math, the old way of doing math, you had to show your work. And the reason why you had to show your work, because the teacher wanted to make sure you demonstrated an understanding on how to get to the answer. That's why you had to show your work. Like one math equation might be worth 10 points, but each step is 1 point. So you might only get 5 points even though you got the right answer, you might only get 5 points for solving the equation because you skipped steps because they were trying to teach you reasoning. Okay. They don't teach that today. Well, it's the same thing. I mean, y'all just want to get information and give me the answer. 30 seconds, I got to spit an answer, give you the answer. But you're not getting understanding. Everything is microwave now. 30 seconds, 90 seconds, TikToks. No long form content. People don't study, read books. Because that's where the knowledge is. It's always been in the books. And I hear the young people, oh, we got Google. I've had Google longer than y'all have had it. That's a tool, but that doesn't replace. I don't care. You gotta have a screwdriver you gotta have a drill all you want, but you still need that screwdriver. Okay. There are jobs that can't use a drill. You gotta use a screwdriver. And y'all get information, but you don't get understanding. And that's why y'all get frustrated. You think you know things, because see, information doesn't equal knowledge. But going back to the community, there's a formula to get an equation that constructs community. So in order to get a community, you got to start with the foundation, which is a family. That's a husband plus a wife equals children. And then you replicate that enough and you get a neighborhood. And then you replicate enough neighborhoods and they form a community. And there's codes of conduct and behaviors that are consistent throughout all of that. That does not exist today. We're not even getting married at the same rate. My parents would be baby boomers, and they got married at half the rate that their parents got. So those 3 generations have cut in half. And now we're down to single digits or less. Plus, the abortion rate is skyrocketed during that time. And the gay shit is, exploded. And transgender, all of that kind of stuff. So families aren't being constructed. So there is no community. There's no ownership. There's no code of conduct. That's what they did to you. And again, that began with Bill Clinton. When they started flooding our communities in with these other cultures, these cultures of people who are not compatible. Everybody's not compatible, right, with us. Just because they dark skin don't mean they compatible. They believe different things. And many of them beliefs are not compatible. You can't argue with the results. None of them communities added to us, or they've only further diluted us and made it harder for you. But y'all will die for the Palestinians and shit. When the Palestinians will stab you in your face. Because they have a different cultural and belief system. They're heavily rooted in colonialism, paganism, Catholicism, what else we gonna call it? Arabianism, and all other kind of isms that are incompatible. And then people are willing to die for what they believe in. They will blow you up because on the other end, they got 70 versions that they believe they're going to get. They believe that shit. And they've been doing it for thousands of years. This ain't new for them. They've been doing it for thousands of years. And that's the miscalculation that I believe Trump's advisors advised him on, that this was, even though his belief has been go to war with Iran, and I'm not necessarily saying it's the bad thing, I'm just saying understand geopolitically what you're getting yourself into. He thought it was going to be quick, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. But no, you're dealing with people who are battle tested for thousands of years, and there's certain levels of loss that they're willing to accept that we didn't think they would. And we can't go but so far, because then they got the backing of some major players that's been quiet, but it's a chess move. You got Russia still, even though Russia is having problems with Ukraine, same thing. And you got China, North Korea, you got some players in that region that they're allied. Just like we got allies, they got allies. And whether it's, a lot of those allies, it's about money, resources. And that's why the allies is letting them get away with stuff and do stuff over there. Because the allies know, hey, we need this oil. And we really don't want to be dependent on America for oil. That's why they were trying to secretly move into the Western Hemisphere. And that's why Trump had to cut that off down in Venezuela. Because in Panama and in Greenland is going to be next. That's geopolitical chess. Again, some of y'all don't understand that. And that's about future moves. But so we had Biden. They took you. What did they do to you? They took your vote from you. Just straight up jacked it and smiled in your face like nothing happened. They threw rocks and hit their hands and act like they ain't do nothing and pointed the finger at somebody else. But he trying to take your vote while they've already done it multiple times. And they're positioning the immigrants a generation from now to be able to vote you out. You talking about, black people and black vote? Okay. Yeah. Then no. You putting them people in position just like you did in Cuba, and they're gonna vote your ass out next, dummy. Dumbass. Then that brings us back to Trump again. This time, Trump, I thought Trump would have been just sitting on his ass. No, he's been strategizing and plotting, and everything he did wrong or he didn't understand, he educated himself this second time, and they knew he was going to be more dangerous. The Empire Strikes Back. Y'all remember that movie? It got stronger. The Empire got stronger, right? After that first movie, the Empire Strikes Back got stronger. And that's why they tried to kill the man several times, imprison him multiple ways for bullshit, bankrupt him, lock his kids up, go through his wife's underwear drawer. They done tried everything to stop this man. And he still won by a landslide because they banked on them social issues and tried to sell y'all on Kamala being a black woman. She ain't black. She's a Manchurian candidate. She grew up in Canada, another country. Guess who's been paying attention? What else did they do to you? Who've been paying attention to that? The Chinese. So the Chinese say, oh, we've seen these Democrats have been doing it. We're going to start doing it too. We're going to set up all of these future Chinese tethers. And then we're going to infiltrate y'all from within. They're going to be born over here. They're going to take them back and raise them in China, but they're American citizens technically, so they can come back whenever they want. And that's what Trump has been trying to make y'all aware of with the birthright citizenship. We got to cut this off. But what did the Democrats trying to do in the socialists, the Democrat socialists, the communists? They trying to open up to get rid of the borders altogether. Unbelievable. These are the things that have been done to you. I'm just briefly overviewing it. If we really break it down, president by president, year by year, it's more. But that's a brief overview. They're trying to do it again. You got a Manchurian candidate. No, you got a foreigner in New York. Never had a job. Never did nothing. Ridiculous policies, done broke all his campaign promises. New Yorkers hate him. Them New Yorkers is hating him. And he done pissed off them 5 families. The 5 families have been quiet for years. I think he done woke up a sleeping dragon or bear or something. Lions and tigers and bears. Oh my. And pretty soon you're going to find out that they're going to take a peek behind that curtain and find out the emperor or the wizard ain't the wizard. The wizard is Richard Pryor. He's a comedian. That's going to be Mandani. Man Dummy. But that's all I got, man. I wanted to point those things out, and I was hoping to get some dialogue, but guess y'all out eating after church, getting y'all inspiration. Where's inspiration in the Bible again? I'm sorry, what? What happened to instruction? Correction. That's what Christ was teaching. He wasn't teaching inspiration. But that's all I got for you. On your way out the door, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the share button. Share to your socials. Send me $2 for the Pure Elite Tea Fund, please. I tell y'all, this is gonna be my last day for the 40s, man. I'm entering a new era tomorrow, so we'll see what that brings. I might not even be able to sleep tonight. Excited about a new era. I'm back in my original city, back in North Carolina. My original city here in North Carolina, which is Charlotte, where I raised my kids, and about to start a new era here in this house and a new era in my life. So, new decade. Look forward to that. The big 5-0. the way, what was I getting ready to say? But I thank y'all for stopping by the People's Podcast. I am your host, the Ben Israel, the People's Champ. And you can call me V. It's your boy. It's your boy.